Alright, hello, I'm Stephen Sadler. I've been talking to you about money and power, reading to you from my book. We've been talking about 9/11. And for those of you that haven't, I'd like to recommend you read 9/11. Not the commission report that was put together by our Congress. Not because it's going to give you good information, it's going to show you how poorly done the investigation was, how much critical information was left out, like where the money came from. We have no inclusion of the NSA's dialogue with the terrorist or with the CIA's handling. All the important stuff is left out of this. What's more interesting than reading the 9/11 Commission report, the official version, is actually reading John Farber's book, The Ground Truth. He was actually senior counsel to the 9/11 Commission. He was front row and center. And this is what he said about his own investigation and report at the end. He said the government and the military officials told Congress, the Commission, the media, and the public what they said was almost entirely and inexplicably untrue. That's a quote from Farber. He said they attributed this misinformation to a lack of attention to detail, but he goes on to say the events of the day as it entered in the records were unmistakably different from what the officials actually claimed. So we were sold a bill of goods. Listen to this. A lot of people don't realize this either, that he's saying we, meaning the Commission, submitted questions for use in the interrogation, but had no control over whether or how those questions would be asked. He goes on to say, nor were we allowed to talk to the interrogators so that we could better judge the credibility of the detainees and clarify the ambiguities in the reporting. They were basically just told to take what we tell you and don't question it. Even more incredibly, former National Security Advisor Sandy Berger actually went before testifying into the National Archives, and he was caught stuffing documents into his socks and sneaking them out the building. You're not supposed to take these classified documents out of the building, and he snuck them out. Of course, there were little said about this in the press and no consequences for those actions taken. But I think the first point is that we have to understand is the Commission itself questioned the information that they've been given. In other words, we've been sold a bill of goods and no one's following up to really see what was happening. And I think that needs to happen.